Today we are joined on Skype by a former German judo champion, a former police officer and actor, and current UFC fighter, Nick Hein. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm. That was a really nice introduction. It would be
Thank
nice anywhere I go. Like people would say that former police officer, former actor, and now UFC fighter. And then I want some fireworks. Like, no, I'm in a really good mood. I had a good day today, and to be honest, like I yesterday, I had like a field test for my how my disc injury like is working, and it looks really good.
Oh, that's good
This
to
gave me
hear.
yeah that gave me self-confidence, which means like there's improvement. I'm on a good way. So yeah, I'm in a good mood.
That's very, very good. I would like to start the interview by asking the following question. How
Yes.
did you get involved with martial arts and in your case, judo?
It all started exactly where we are where I am now in Elsdorf, in the world city known as Elsdorf, which actually is not really famous. So when I used to go to school, primary school, there was always, I think there's like two versions of that story. I am pretty sure I saw a Bruce Lee movie, and I wanted to get involved into martial arts, like kung fu, something like this.
Yeah.
But in Elsdorf, they didn't have that, but they had a judo club.
Oh.
So I went to judo.
Mhm.
My mom says I had a crush on a girl in kindergarten, and that girl did judo. And that was initially the reason why I joined the judo club. Till today, we are not sure which story is the right one. Nonetheless, I started doing judo like with 6 years, and then did it for another 20 years. And
Mhm.
it was a defining career. It made me, it created the person I am now, and it also created the basis for my mixed martial arts career.
Okay. We all know you used to be a police officer and an actor on the TV show Diese Kaminskis, among other
Yes,
appearances.
yes.
If you look back on it, do you miss those days?
To be honest, I just met a former colleague of mine today, and we were sitting down and talking about the good old times when we were both on patrol together. And to be honest, I really sometimes miss the days to like just put on my uniform, go like on the streets and do the dirty work,
Mhm.
yeah, like all those things that you sometimes also see on television, because we had those cases where we had to run after people, where we had to question people, where we sometimes, when we had good times laughing, when we had bad times like being angry that we, I don't know, like maybe missed the case or something, I really do sometimes miss that. And to be honest, I still till today have that in my heart. Like I still feel like a police officer, to be honest. I just feel like I'm like off duty right now, but I'm like like if I sometimes, when I talk about the police force, when I have like when people or the media ask me about actual things that happen at the police force, I always refer to us. I say we have a problem, like as if I'm still an officer. So
Yeah.
there's still a boundary. And with the acting and the media work, it's still going on. There's some projects like for me, like rolling on right now, that are still involved in in those things. And I'm pretty sure that eventually I'm going to end up as a person in that area, like after sports.
Okay. I imagine it is a nice transition because you're used to it and you have a lot of knowledge in the field.
First of all, this, and also I'm really open and curious for to test myself on different fields. To be honest, I wouldn't even mind like going into serious acting one day, like not like being a half naked macho on in these Kaminskis. I mean, like some serious roles. And the
Mhm.
same, to be honest, I also believe that like the field of politics, which is really serious, is also something that could interest me in the future. I had the opportunity to be partially involved in some of those things, and to be
Mhm.
honest, politics and acting is not so different, you know. There's a lot of in common.
Yeah, that's true. When we move from your judo background to the mixed martial arts, when did you get involved with MMA?
Like the thought, started or evolved at the time. I think it was at the year 2000, because somebody gave me those old VHS tapes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he said, "Man, you gotta look at this. That is insane. They really fight, and it's like boxer versus a sumo wrestler and BJJ." And I was like, "You're kidding me. That's probably like it's like staged, like you know, it's not real."
Yeah.
And he gave me that, and we watched it, and I was like, "Man, that is brutal." But at the same time, I thought like, you know, maybe I could do that too, you know. And then I remember that it always like I had like a growing interest on that, and I think around that time I also bought myself the first pair of boxing gloves because you
Okay.
know I wanted to like do a little bit of that boxing, but still it was just like a hobby.
Hmm.
So after 9 years, I finally attended my first MMA training session, like 2009, and I trained. And at the same year, I fought my first MMA fight.
Yes.
And to be honest, it wasn't official for me because I was still in the judo national team. And to do something like this could have get me kicked out of the team,
Hmm.
especially because you know I had a training camp at that time. I was supposed to be in Berlin for a training camp for the World Championships, but I said I can't go because I have to be on a wedding of a good friend. I lied to the,
Oh.
and then I went to the
Yeah.
fight and I won my fight, and then
Mhm.
I drove to the training camp like with a 2 days delay, and yeah, it was quite like an adventure, to be honest.
Yeah, I can imagine. And like you said, 2009 was your professional MMA debut, and
Yeah.
not even 5 years later, you're fighting in a UFC in Berlin, Germany.
Yes.
That must have been awesome for you.
Yes, and still, you know, I fought 2 times in Berlin
Yeah.
in for the UFC, and you know, this year the UFC is coming back to Hamburg, and it could be the third time in the third year in a row I fight in the UFC in Germany. If it's God's will and I get my thing like my disc
Mhm.
like in order, and you know, you never have everything in your hand, you know. There's a good saying we have. If you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans, because it always changes. You have nothing
Yeah.
in control. But this could be like the third time. It would be awesome.
Yeah. For the UFC debut, you dropped from welterweight to lightweight. It's a 7 kilo difference almost. How did that decision come about back then?
It was actually something my former manager he proposed that idea to me, and to be honest, I didn't really think I would do it because I had absolutely, and that is quite a shame, no idea of nutrition and no idea of real dieting. I was a judo national team member, and I thought I know everything, but I knew nothing. Um, Sometimes I think if I had the knowledge that I have now,
Mhm.
what you can really get out of your body when you do things right. I could have maybe been way more successful in judo as well. But you know, everything happens for a reason. Finally, you know, it got me. You know, I got that knowledge, and my first weight cut was horrible, man. I remember also the like I have now 4 fights in the UFC,
Mhm.
and every weight cut since then, and every um, training camp since then, like changed every time so much, so crucial. It was always such a difference. Like this diet for this camp that I for the fight I couldn't. It would have been my fifth fight in the UFC, and this time it was so different. Um, when I think of my first for example, weight cut in the UFC
Mhm.
and what I ate after the weigh-ins, you know, because, you know, there's a difference also. Like sometimes people think, you know, after when you weigh, you can eat whatever you want. And I did. And that is like the worst thing you can do, like to
Yeah,
your body,
for
like
your
to eat.
body. Yeah. Yeah.
So man, that was quite a journey.
But you fought the first fight and you won the first fight in a sold-out O2 arena in Berlin.
Yes.
What went through your mind when you won that fight for your own people, so to speak?
Man, this feeling is, there's nothing you can really compare to that. I think it's like, because it's so unrealistic, you know. It's really like this story, this fairy tale Cinderella story. Sometimes you see in TV and then you think like, yeah, you know, those things always happen like in movies,
Hmm.
but like, and then you know you get the contract, then you know the fight is quite soon. It's in your hometown. Suddenly you're standing in the arena. There's like 12,000 people waiting for you in this small place, like stomping their feet on the ground and making the rhythm, and you are like, man, what is happening? And then you go out and you're just full of excitement and adrenaline and like this, even like if you are in this arena and as a spectator you get a like goosebumps, but when you walk in as a fighter, man, I can't describe this feeling. It's sometimes too intense. I sometimes can't even remember the feeling, like how I felt, because it was too intense.
Yeah,
And then you fight, and it was one of the best fights I ever fought.
great
Nonetheless,
fight.
I was so much under pressure, and then you win, and then everyone is like, it's like true, like when you win, everybody loves the winner, and you
Yeah,
get more attention. And man, that was like, I felt like I achieved a new level of life and enjoyment. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It was quite unreal. And to be honest, this is also something I pursue. Like now, I want to have that again. I want
mm,
to have it again, and this is what drives me. I just, you know, my last win in Japan, it was good that I won, but it wasn't the same because, you know, it wasn't that spectacular, and it wasn't that the people didn't like respond the same like they did, for example, after my first fight. So it makes you work hard, you know, it makes you, man, the next fight, you, because you want that again, because it's like a drug.
you want to do an even better performance for the people also.
Yes, because I want them to, and I want to have that feeling again. Like I, this is my son, by the way. He's trying like always to get in the
Hi.
picture, and now he's gone again. So yeah, that, it's really unrealistic.
Okay. In your second fight, you fought James Vick. It was then your first fight outside of Germany, I believe. It was
Yeah.
in Austin, Texas.
Yes.
You unfortunately lost the fight after a close judge's decision. Do you think the trip to the United States and the time difference, etc., played a big part in the preparation for that fight?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I um I lost the fight at that time because I'm like like to be honest, it is really a difference when you fight in the UFC than when you fight on local events. And I thought I could handle the preparation at local gyms, preparing as I did before. But you know, it's not like that. You really have to change things, and um, it's what I'm doing now. I'm traveling. You know, I'm investing all my money, my time, my personal like how you say energy, like
Mhm.
to go to the best places I can go to train, and my family supports me. So now I'm trying to really reach that level that you is required to stand up with those guys and to make the performances. And before, and I thought I could do the same in Germany, and I felt, and to be honest, you know, of course, you know, when you see the fight, you know, you can say maybe that the same fight at a different place, not against a Texan in Texas,
Yeah.
would have been judged differently. But nonetheless, when I look back, I don't like try to like put the fault on those, or maybe the
Mm.
time difference or whatever. You know, I fought in judo also. I became European champion in Moscow, you know, which is also a different time zone. You know, I was used to those kind of things. It didn't really bother me.
Okay. And my next question was going to be after the loss, you switched the training camp.
Yeah.
We all know there are a lot of good MMA camps in the United States. What made you choose Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand?
I got some personal advice from people at that time that this would be a good camp, and I tried it the first, and
Hmm.
it was really good. It was really a difference. So this is eventually that made the decision. Nonetheless, I'm going to, for example, now I'm going to LA. I'm going to
Yeah.
try to train in LA and work with Anthony Hardonk,
Okay.
like on the striking. I'm going to also like visit some gyms. I had the chance in Rotterdam to chat with some coaches, and it was quite interesting. Also, like how many people really say, try it, visit us. And I think there's nothing wrong, like to go around. And I think everyone, all the good guys do that. They travel. They have that one gym where they always come back to. But
Hmm.
nonetheless, it's not bad, like to try to always evolve and to get the best from all the people you can have access to. I think this is how champions do it.
Okay. After joining Tiger Muay Thai, you won 2 fights straight, and then you were scheduled to fight in the Netherlands at UFC Rotterdam against John Tuck. But I believe in the first week of May, you announced the injury. How did it feel for you to be in attendance at UFC Rotterdam, but not be able to step in that octagon and fight yourself?
Uh, I didn't really like it. I don't need
No.
to describe it too much. Like it felt horrible. Also when I like at the first time, I really wanted to actually I didn't even want to go to Rotterdam because I felt like it's going to bring up all the bad emotions, all
Yeah.
that bad feelings, all that doubts, and well, like I have to explain myself to all the people.
Mm.
But eventually, it turned out that it was really a good idea to do that because it brought me back in contact with all the people, and also like with the fans especially.
Yeah.
And it really also helped me to get over that thing. I think if I would have tried to dodge it, like on like not to like to avoid it, to face that, I would be more sad than I am now.
Yeah, I think I was myself at UFC Rotterdam, and I think the fans were for the foreign fighters also very embracing, and
Yeah,
the foreign fighters got a lot out of it.
I always feel like the UFC fans, they are special. For example, when you are a soccer or like a football fan, you have a team. You love your team, but you don't really like the other teams.
Exactly. Yeah.
And for like UFC fans, for example, they want to see all the fighters. Of course they have their favorites. When I hung out with Musashi at
Kick out.
Rotterdam,
Yes. Hmm.
and of course, there's like a lot of he's the bigger name. He's also like he's charming. So of course at that time, a lot of people try to like jump on him, but nonetheless, you always get that feedback. They are always happy to see you. They are always happy
Yeah.
to talk to you, and man, that really helps.
Okay. You started the interview by telling us you were in a very good mood because of how the recovery is going.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little more? Is there a timeline you have in mind for your return? Obviously, hopefully, UFC Hamburg.
Yeah, one reason I'm going to the States is because I want to meet up with some doctors that could eventually make the decision to get me the clearance or like clarification that I can prepare and fight maybe for Hamburg. So that is one intention I have to go there, and like the 2 weeks I'm now in recovery training really helped a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's like it gives me good self-confidence for that trip to the States.
Okay, and let's hope you make it in time for the next German UFC show.
Yes.
If you have to guess, which fighters do you think will be on that UFC Hamburg card?
Uh, of course, if there's the chance, the German fighters and local fighters from Europe will be on the card. But I'm pretty sure this time the UFC, also like got to know a little bit about the German market, and Rotterdam had a really high profile card. Those main event could have been on
Yeah,
any fight card in the world.
it was a very nice card.
Yes, and to be honest, I'm pretty sure that to get the German fans like pumped, you need also to have one of those cards. So to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if you would have like a really really exciting main event card, um, because this is how I think the UFC understood that also on European shows you need to put on a show, not only like a B class.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I can't really tell you about who's going to be there, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good. I wouldn't even be surprised if it would be a title fight of one of the, I don't know, maybe light heavyweight or something. I'm not saying anything, but I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be really great. And we
Yes.
know a very good light heavyweight from Europe, so who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. The Hamburg Arena, I believe, holds 16,000 people, if I'm not mistaken. So I bet it will be a wild party. Pre-sale tickets are on May 26, I believe, and general tickets May 27. So for the fans
Yes.
who are watching, don't be late, I would say.
Yes.
um, Talking about Germany, the UFC is grinding very hard to make a German TV deal happen. Can you give us some inside information about that project and that German TV deal?
Yes. There is right now a TV group on it. It's called the Pro7 Sat.1
Hmm.
television group, which is like the biggest private channel in our group. It's actually two channels in Germany, and they're quite famous for other sports. How you call it? Sports. Like they have different fields like soccer and football and
Boxing,
like
I believe.
boxing
Yeah.
is a big part, like, and they always broadcast them and cover
Hmm.
them with shows around that topic. And now they created a channel called Run Fighting, and this channel is just exceptional for the fighting parts, like boxing, kickboxing, and now MMA as well.
Okay.
And so they wanna push that, and wanna especially like also like don't just like broadcast the shows. They also want to like create their own content, like behind the scenes and stuff, like to and that is actually something that you need to do to bring the public, like the
Yeah.
people behind the sports, because still MMA is considered to be a very very tough, maybe even brutal sport, and
Hmm.
they oversee the personality and the effort and the
Yeah.
sportsmanship and the everything behind it. So yeah, and that is actually what is going on. But you know how it is. Some projects just shoot into the air and explode, and some projects need some time. And this is one of those projects that is taking some time, but it's definitely coming, and I believe that Hamburg is going to be a major event to push that process,
Yeah.
because Run Fighting is trying to cover also the build up of the event. Yes.
Yeah, I think that people need to be educated about the sport and they will fall in love with it automatically. Fox is doing that in the Netherlands right now. They are doing a little bit of backstage interviews and backstage footage. So also in the Netherlands, it's growing and getting bigger. So it's very good news for Germany also. I want to thank you for making the time to talk to us. I have
Anytime.
one last question for you because I'm
Yeah.
very interested in this.
Yes.
During one of your last interviews, you talked about writing a book. Can you tell us what the book is about and, more important, where we can buy it and when we can buy it?
This book is still in the making, and it's going to be one of it will have nothing to do with MMA, and it's going to be a political book that is going to be released probably in January 2017. I can't tell too much about it yet, but it of course has to is involved with my police job and the like crazy, sometimes even crazier world of they should make a behind the scenes of the police,
Yeah.
not the like behind the scenes UFC. They should make it behind the scenes of police because things, and that's something people always like, especially in Germany, they ask me, how can you do such a dangerous sports like MMA, like and UFC fight? And that is so brutal and so dangerous. Man, if you knew how daily work as a police officer looks like, and there is no refs, there's no doctors, no medical checks,
Yeah.
no nothing, that is real dangerous. So, and it's just like it's going to be like a straight, clear up book about how the reality looks like. And yeah, it's going to be, when it's out, I'm going to give you you're going to get one,
Okay.
and I'm going to tell everyone where to buy it. But
Thank
still,
you.
it's going to be out 2017.
Okay, we will be waiting for that. And to conclude the interview, the fans, where can they follow you on social media?
That is a good thing that you asked it. Well, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and you can find me like on all those accounts when you put in Nick Hein MMA. It's the same for everyone, like NICKHEIN and then MMA. Yeah, please follow me. You will not be disappointed.
Okay, I'm sure they will after seeing the interview. Thank you so much for taking the time, and I'm surely we'll talk soon.
Yes, thank you very much.
Viele Grüße, Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.